Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. Yesterday was a bit of a quiet. It wasn't really a quiet show. Yesterday was still, I suppose, the fallout from the Mason Greenwood situation. It was the only thing that anybody was talking about. And, well, we don't need to speak about that anymore. I don't think so anyway. So I'm going to be focusing on, you can see from the headline, you can see from the title as well. There's a lot of transfer conversations we're having this morning. By India, looks like Manchester United are going to be signing our backup goalkeeper from Fenerbahce. He's already been having pre-medical checks out in Athens. That looks like it's going ahead. Clair Todibo, those stories are coming back. I don't particularly think that's going to happen with Maguire staying, but I'm going to take a look at what they are and where they're coming from. Then we're going to be speaking about Gravenberch. Looks like Bayern Munich are now considering selling him. Interesting. And also you can see, of course, the main headline that I know a lot of you will want an update on, and I will talk about it. It's the Qatari successful takeover talks have returned. Excellent timing, by the way, after the Mason Greenwood situation and before the protest at the weekend. But how dare you take a cynical look? Neil Custis, I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. I'll run through all of that. Look at that for a boring intro. But yeah, there's a lot more to talk about today. Because I always like to look ahead to have conversations about things that are happening in the future rather than dwelling on things that have happened in the past. Just my style. But look, good morning to everyone who's down here. Ant, I can see you there. From the member gang, Carl, you're there. Paula, we've got Salim. How you doing, buddy? We've got James Maycox. We've got Akil, Ryan, Alex, you're there. Josh, you're there. Saeed, Christopher, Damon Lee, Peter, you're there as well. Jerry Morris, Ismaila, Jordan. There's always different names, different faces. Just love it. Who's there from Facebook? Let's have a quick look. We have got Joseph watching from Nigeria. We've got Mark Kennedy watching. We've got Felix Maxiboro. How you doing, man? Julius. We've got Debbie Hinds, Wayne Hogarth, Kieran Robinson. Good morning to all of you. I hope you're doing well. Let's dive straight into the show. And yeah. Shit. Here we go again. I feel like the GTA meme. When I'm talking about anything to do with the takeover, I feel like a GTA meme. I'm going to run through the stories that came last night from Neil Custis, David Ornstein's reaction to them this morning, and also for us just to have a bit of a conversation about it, because it was this article that was released late last night by Neil Custis saying, look, the date is set for the Qatari takeover of Manchester United. The announcement's coming even sooner after Ratcliffe interest is beaten away. I think it was saying like some sort of, was it mid-October? Right. This has obviously got tongues wagging, naturally, because everybody is, geez, all the things that have happened this summer, all the transfers and everything that's happened with Mason Greenwood, none of it is as significant and as important to the future of our football club as a takeover, as who's going to be our new owner. And we've been put through the mill. Everything, when it comes to the Glazers, gets the excitement sucked out of it to the point that when it happens, you're like, well, that's a relief more than anything else. And yeah, I think that's going to be the case with the takeover. Now, let me just run through a couple of things here. Neil Custis, I think you all know what I feel about Neil Custis. Neil Custis, once upon a time, was a journalist back in Fergie's day. I'm sure he still does have sources at the club. There's going to be people saying, hold on here, Sam. He was spot on. He was early with the Greenwood situation. You can't possibly say, and you can't say that he's not telling any truth here. How dare you? I know that a lot of you want this to be the truth, and therefore you want to find reasons why it's going to be true. Now, Neil Custis, you can see the date there, 22nd of August. You can rewind 18 days. This is not something new. He's thrown in a date of mid-October as something new. But he's been saying this for like 3 weeks. And he's really been the only one who has been saying it. And that's what I always say to people, right? Whenever you look at stories like this, just a friendly word of advice. Whenever you see anything like this, and it's only being reported by one person, something of this scale and size of importance of story, and it's only being reported by one person, you should go, it's a bit weird. Why would that only be coming from, surely a story of that magnitude would be reported by everyone? Would be my first sort of red flag. As I said, he's been saying the same thing for 3 weeks, and absolutely sweet FA has happened in the last 3 weeks. Okay. That would be my warning to you here. All right. Madhouse, what's happened to Reuters breaking news? Remember that? Jeez, was that was like about a week period where Reuters were breaking it. Bloomberg, is it Bloomberg or Reuters? I think Bloomberg and Reuters are different. And that was when the share price. I wonder what the share price is these days. Let's have a quick look. I haven't actually looked in about a week or two. Man United share price. What was it before? Was it like 25, 25? Yeah. So look. Right. Let's have what's gone on with that share price over the last month. So currently at $23.83. Remember that the reason that this is significant, ladies and gents, is because if that ever gets near $30, that's pretty much endgame. Because that would be somewhere in the region of what the payout would be if Sheikh Jassim took over. If Jim Ratcliffe was to be successful, geez, here we go, man. All these conversations again, I'm getting PTSD. If Jim Ratcliffe was to be successful, that price would go down because those shareholders wouldn't benefit from that takeover. Look at that. They got up $2. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, here we go again. Look at that. Man United share price in the pre-market has gone up nearly 10%. That's what I mean. It's happening again. It's happening again. I think down here actually. Oh yeah, cool, man. I don't know how to react to it anymore because it's so good. V33 and Tom, you've both just gifted 5 memberships each. Jeez. A double little gong for you there. But yeah, look, Manchester United share price, you can see here. Let's have a look in the last 5 days, see if we can see that spike. Oh, no, it's gone down there. Yeah. So pre-market trading has gone up nearly 10%. Not too much in terms of the volume because, of course, this is pre-market. So let's see what happens when the market's open. This for me kind of feels like Neil Custis is kind of being used by his. I'm sure he does have sources. I'm sure he does have sources inside the club, but it feels like they're using him after the Greenwood situation, before the protest at the weekend. Remember that the 1958 were organising a sit-in protest after the Forest game. Now you might just point and laugh. Some people are going to. I'll point and laugh. Oh, yeah, what's a sit-in protest going to do? But it's the next step towards that boycott that everybody wants. The protests have been done. Standing protests have been done at the Trinity statue. Marches have been done. Double marches have been done from the Lowry and from what's it called, Tollgate, and other pubs too. So they've done standing protests. They've done marching protests. This is now a sit-in after the game because they can't be booted. I'm sure the stewards will try and boot them out. Then hopefully we can work towards that boycott that everybody wants. But it's just so difficult with the club, and it staggers me that people can't get their head around that. The Gorse as well. That's another one, Jonathan. Yeah, it's from the Gorse too. It staggers me that people can't get their head around how difficult it would be to empty Old Trafford because of the scale of Manchester United, the global scale. People that come in there from all around the world, them and their families for the first time at Old Trafford, they're going nowhere. And you need a boycott would have to be on a massive scale for it to have a massive impact. Man, speaking of massive impact, Simon coming down here and gifting 10 memberships this morning. What an absolute gentleman. Let me read some names out there, see if I can see some names. No, doesn't even go there. Old Nag's Head, of course, they did a march from there through town too. Simon, you absolute legend. Can I say here quickly, let me pull something up before we get into talking about this a little bit more. This. Right. I am working on something in the background that I think is going to be so. I don't. The Alexander podcast had me in stitches. Pals Chihuahua comment. I know. Poor Anthony. It was quite funny though, to be fair. But you know full well that as a community, we've got the Telegram community, and it's brilliant. As a member, you can go there, come in and join in with all the other members. But there's so many limitations on Telegram as to what you can do. And I've been working hard in the background. I've been working with all the original mods who set up the original Discord, and we are going to be moving the community from Telegram back to Discord. Now, there's going to be people, and I listened to these people at the start. I listened to a lot of you and said, Sam, Discord's too intimidating, too complicated. I don't like it. And I said, right, okay, I've got to look at alternatives. And that's why we went to Telegram. But the community has outgrown Telegram. There are so many things that we can do on Discord, voice chats together, hosting like live podcasts, like stages, video streams, member-only zones, so much more in-depth than I could ever do on Telegram. All right. So I'm going to be doing this transfer over. I'm just giving you a pre-warning. I'm working on it behind the scenes. From the 1st of September, going to be starting the switch back. And I'm going to be helping everybody. We're going to be creating guides for anybody who's a little bit confused or concerned about Discord. We'll be making like one-page guides to show you exactly how it's done. I'm just preparing you, because once it happens, trust me, you're going to be so happy that it has happened. Discord is going to be the home for United People's TV, and probably a million times more so than Telegram could ever be. What you're saying down here in the comments, though, about this wonderful, PR, I would probably call it. It's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. October announcement breaking everywhere now, apparently. Let's have a look. Well, that's coming from that, isn't it? Following on from this, by the way, what's this saying here? Nah, right. So, of course, we listen to what David Ornstein's got to say on this, because David Ornstein is, as far as David Ornstein goes, he's as reliable as it gets. And this was David Ornstein. Basically, David Ornstein on Sky Sports News being asked to react to that, saying, look, I've not been told that. So David Ornstein's not being told that the takeover is done. So either Neil Custis has got the absolute exclusive of exclusives, superseding and going above David Ornstein, or, spoiler alert, he might be exaggerating some sort of truth. And David Ornstein's saying, look, the bigger unanswered question is whether the Glazers are ready to sell. So far, we haven't had an answer yet, but perhaps we're getting towards it. Also went on to say that kind of what the hints have suggested is that after the transfer window is done, we might get some movement on it. But I'm like, really? Debbie, sorry, I didn't explain that properly. That comment there caught me out. Not caught me out. Absolutely not, Debbie. Facebook will still exist. YouTube will still exist. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. The only thing that we're going to be moving is the Telegram community across to Discord. Everything else will still exist. All right. It's just that Discord will become the community home. That will be the place where we all chat every single day. And it's going to be so much better. I can't take, when I first tried to move across to Discord originally, it was good, but it's nowhere near as good as it is now. Like, we're going to be able to do live quizzes in there, live trivia, live polls, hopefully interactive match predictions, hopefully interactive player ratings, live call-ins with me. Honestly, the scale of it, it's so much better. So much better. And so much better than it was a year ago as well. So that's another reason to move over. But yeah, David Ornstein, who we're listening to, all quiet on the Western Front. He's not been told that there's a takeover happening, but the reports are coming out now. And it's just going to be a case of like, oh yeah, here we go again. It really is going to be a case of here we go again. That's what it feels like anyway. Matt Elliott, you just gifted a membership, my Don. Adam Hargreaves, say thanks, because now you two are tied at the hip. He's gifted one membership to you. But Shax and Bigfoot coming in with 5. I'm in a much better mood than I was yesterday. The whole Greenwood situation just was taxing. Really was. And I'm sure that there's more to that. But now, after the 15 minutes there, we've covered all the, as I said, take this with a massive pinch of salt. Not a pinch of salt, like a whole kilo of salt. It's Neil Custis, right? It's not coming from anywhere. It's not coming from David Ornstein or Fabrizio or James Ducker or Laurie Whitwell or Andy Mitten or anybody that we think and feel that we can trust. It's come from Neil Custis, who Louis van Gaal famously called Fat Man. You remember that? When, sorry, Neil, if you're listening, would you not? I always remember that. It's one of the funniest things that Louis van Gaal did. He had quite a few moments, Louis van Gaal, but that one was really funny. Let's speak about transfers, right? Let's speak about transfers, because we've now got 8 days left. You can see here the board's been semi-updated, right? We've got Bayern, they're up the top there. We've got Gravenberch, Amrabat. I've got new attacker down there. I'll tell you what, I'll actually say this before we start speaking about this. I am going to pull up a picture of Mason Greenwood again. And I'll explain to you why. This is just my own sort of opinion on this particular part of it. And it's not about Greenwood itself. It's about well, I'll explain it in a sec once I've got the picture up. Mike Smalling, that was a good moment from Wolverhampton. That's a good one. But look, just as much as, well, we all know that Man United were planning to bring Mason Greenwood back, right? Which means that Erik ten Hag was planning to have Mason Greenwood as one of his attacking options this season, which means that now has changed, which means, and that leads me to that point there, that's why I've got new attacker with a question mark next to it. Because if Ten Hag was planning to have Mason back in his squad and he now doesn't have him, will United make a move in the next 8 days for another attacker? I wouldn't rule it out. That's just what my spidey senses are telling me. All right, that's not. I don't ever come with any in the know. If you want in the know news, you subscribe to the wrong channel because you're not going to get that from me. But I think that's going to be an interesting one. Abby, you're saying about Felix on loan. I just don't see how Felix. I mean, we're a team which currently lacks physicality. You want to bring Felix in to play up front in the Premier League? Dude will get swatted away like a fly. Let's find out. But something that will certainly be happening is this. Brad, there's a nice comment there. Say, can you say good day to my daughter Mia, who's 5? We are both from Australia and we watch every night 7 p.m. for us. How you doing, Mia? I would give you a high five, but it's a long old way to Australia. But thank you both for tuning in, you and your dad, Brad. But look, let's speak about Bayern. Now, this might not be a signing which, I don't know, excites everybody massively. But it's a signing that needs to be done. We've got the whole merry-go-round of goalkeepers this summer. Has been De Gea left on a free, and then we've got Onana in, and now Henderson is looking likely to go to Crystal Palace. Now, this move for Bayern, so let me explain the story first. All right. He yesterday completed a sort of a pre-medical check in Athens with Manchester United ahead of a move to Manchester United. The move is going to be for around 7 million euros, and he is Fenerbahce's goalkeeper. Played 40 times for Fenerbahce last season. He's a bit rough around the edges, I'll be completely honest. He's not exactly someone who's going to come in and be... I'll always use it in comparison because it always sticks in my mind. Ortega stepping in for Ederson in the FA Cup final against us, and you wouldn't even known that it wasn't Ederson. I'm not here saying that Bayern is going to... Because Onana's made a strong start, man. Onana has made a strong start. Clearly, United and Ten Hag, probably more Ten Hag than United, feel that Bayern could be that backup. Now, Bayern, I think maybe not weird coincidence, was previously linked with Ajax. But it looks like he's going to be the fourth signing. And that hopefully will mean that Dean Henderson is leaving. Anthony, this whole thing does revolve around Henderson leaving. And it's a bar. The Henderson situation, I think, out of all the players who could have left our club this summer, the Henderson one was me personally, one I would have put an absolute banker. Definitely that Dean Henderson's leaving. It's not going to be a problem. Forest want him. They'll pay for him. And then the injuries happened, which delayed it at the start. And then the problems with De Gea and should De Gea leave, and United seemingly putting all the eggs and sorting the De Gea situation out, that delayed it. And then what delayed it more was Onana coming in, and it was just like delay, injury, delay. And now here we are 8 days before the end of the window. Forest don't want him anymore. It looks like Crystal Palace. They're probably going to end up signing him alone because we're going to be a bit desperate to get him off the books. Loan with an obligation to purchase. We need to get Henderson out of Manchester United. In the same way we need to get Maguire out. I don't think we actually will be able to now. But that's likely what's going to be happening. We're going to be seeing Henderson leave, join Crystal Palace, and Bayern come in as the new backup goalkeeper. So we'll have Onana, Bayern, and Heaton as our 3 goalkeepers next season. I'm going to go through read a few of your super chats and then read a few of your comments out as well. Tom, you're saying he was probably told so by the club. is that relating to Greenwood? Was that relating to? I'm not sure what that was relating to, man. No, buddy. Sorry. Apologies about that. Jordan, you're saying he's a good keeper. Been watching him for a while. I haven't watched enough of him, and I'll be working. Maybe Steve, if you're watching, me and you, we've got to do a little bit of research into Bayern. Start watching a few of his games. Alex, you're saying name for number 9 scout list. Anastasios. This feels like a test. Anastasios Duvikas from Utrecht. Obviously, we just sold Zidane Iqbal to Utrecht, didn't we? I'll have a look at that. V33, how you doing, buddy? United is a self-serving financial tool. Sheikh Jassim, win this for the football fans. Your return on investment will be fast with a proper management structure in place. Sometimes, some of you guys, you leave the most difficult comments for me to read out. Football fan, in you, in us, you put the... I kind of get what you mean there, V33. I kind of get what you mean. But let's find out. I'm going to read a few of your comments out down here. Sam Harrison saying, why aren't we outraged and kicking Anthony out of the club? Because we're letting that story and case develop before we comment on it, which is exactly what we did with Mason and exactly what we will do with Anthony. Okay? I'm not going to comment on that until something firm has happened. And I know there's been statements from both sides, but that's still just verbals. When it reaches it, anyway, I'm not commenting on that yet. What else are you saying down here? 2 or 3 out and 2 in on deadline day, says Call Me Rafe. Look, my video today is going to be like a full summary. I've done this quite a few times over this summer, but I think we've got space for one more. Like, what do I really feel could happen in these next 8 days? And I genuinely think we could be looking at multiples in and out. I've always felt that. But even at this late stage, I still think that is the case. There's another super chat there. Let me read this out before I move on. Brad saying, oh, there you go. Hey, thank you, mate. Absolutely made her day. Me appreciate it. Massive smile on her face. What a don. Both you and Mia. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Australia. We need to do a world tour at some point, don't we? Right, let's move on from Bayern to talk about what I would consider. Oh man, this. I'm not. I suppose I kind of am desperate for this to happen. Really, I really am desperate for this guy to be signed. Gravenberch is just at this point in the window. Typically, what United would do would be panic, would be just looking or just trying to find somebody somewhere, right? Gravenberch just ticks the boxes. He really is a profiled signing. Now, this is interesting because Raphael Honigstein from The Athletic saying that now Bayern Munich, they're considering whether or not they're going to be selling him. Now, I'll be honest, in an ideal situation, what Manchester United will do here is sign Ryan Gravenberch on a season-long loan with an option, or I'd be surprised if it was an obligation to buy, but an option to buy. So it's just like kicking the can further down the road, really, because we haven't quite got the money this summer to be doing that. And Glenn with an absolute, man, it's such a strange comment. How on earth is Gravenberch flopped at Bayern Munich when how many games did he start last season? I mean, I'll be surprised if he started more than 10 in the Bundesliga. I don't think he started anywhere near that in the Bundesliga. The guy's not had an opportunity. The guy's 21. It's just that Bayern Munich are so littered with so many. But Marcel Sabitzer didn't get a sniff in either. He's now gone to Dortmund. He was good. It's a shame that he got injured, right? Bayern Munich are just, they have so many. They've just got Konrad Laimer on a free transfer. That to try and say that he's been a flop at Bayern Munich is a massive exaggeration completely. And it's just not really based in truth. Now, I would love this deal to happen, but still, we are waiting for movement. I mean, you can say that with pretty much everything. Now, this is, I'm not bringing this comment in here as gospel, but I'm saying these are the whispers that you're hearing from Italy. I wouldn't be surprised if Amrabat's just getting really angry with United. Seriously. Like, we have been sniffing around him for ages. He's sitting there in his United pajamas, waiting for that call. He wants to join us. But still, we haven't pulled the trigger. Neither of Liverpool, by the way. Remember that last week? Massive rumours. That was when I released my Amrabat scouting report. And yet Amrabat he's exactly what this midfield is missing. What this midfield is missing, first of all, probably the thing that's become most apparent this season so far is how vulnerable we are when we lose the ball in the press and we get hit on the counter. We don't have the legs. We don't have the physicality in midfield to cover those spaces. Bruno and Mount, both incredible athletes, but I kind of have to... Alex, I know you're not listening to this, but Alex on the pod is a hashtag athlete. He's a guy who really believes in the physicality and the specimens and says that we don't quite have those sort of runners in midfield. You look at the first game against Wolves, you look at was it Cunha and Lamina? And you look at our sorts of runners in midfield, and we don't quite have that. Amrabat is that. I wouldn't say Gravenberch is that by comparison. That's why I think both of them. That's why I think Amrabat and Gravenberch can both be signed and really plug into different areas of our midfield. But I don't get the Amrabat situation. He's not going to cost that much. And look, right, I was going to speak about this later in the show, but we may as well speak about it now because it all ties in. All completely ties in. Mason Mount is now injured. He's missing the Forest game of the weekend, and he's also missing Arsenal away. Now, if Ten Hag didn't have enough ammo to go to the board and say, look, get me a midfielder, then surely he's got that now. Because without Mount, you're now looking at a midfield, 3 options, really. And I'm going to do my starting 11 for the Forest game tomorrow. So we'll speak about that tomorrow. But you could bring in McTominay, you could bring in Eriksen, or you could bring in Hannibal. I think they're the kind of 3 options that you got inside there. None of which are really exactly what Ten Hag wants or needs. I would love us to sign Amrabat, and I think I've said it a million times now. I've got it up here as well. I'm going to keep repeating this because it makes perfect logical sense, and it's not outside the realms of possibility. It's completely realistic. I think the things that were outside the realms of possibility was the fact that with the 13 mil there, I put on the add-ons for Fred, and also the idea that we're going to be getting 17 million for Williams and Van der Beek. I think that's more unrealistic than the idea of signing Gravenberch and Amrabat in the first place. But still, we're waiting on movements. Bayern are considering selling. He'll definitely, if we pick up the phone, he'll be like, yeah, of course I'll join United. Of course I'll play for Erik Ten Hag. And the same thing goes for Amrabat. Make some moves, United, man. And of course, ties into sales as well. It really, really, and this one really is going to frustrate me, man. This one's really going to frustrate me. It looks like Maguire. Everything is pointing towards Harry Maguire staying at Manchester United. Everything. After that failed move to West Ham, I cannot see any club bearing in mind, Harry Maguire's on 190 grand. I think thereabouts, right? Is on 190 grand a week. 1 second there. Someone's about to get banned on Facebook for spamming. Whoop. Bye-bye, Sammy. See you. Anyway, it looks like Maguire's staying. And that is a kick in the gonads, as far as I'm concerned, because now we've got a £30 million player just stinking up the bench. Tyler, you're saying, why wasn't he in the squad over the weekend? Illness, apparently. All right. Believe that? No, I don't. But at the same time as all of this, you're hearing that Harry Maguire staying, Benjamin Pavard looks like he's going to Inter Milan. And you're seeing this. You're seeing these reports coming out from France and coming from L'Equipe in France, saying that he's nearing a move to Manchester United, which this made me work going, eh? Because, of course, Todibo, as far as we knew and understood, Todibo, Pavard, or Tapsoba, the 3 centre-backs we were linked with, they were all Harry Maguire replacements. So the idea that Maguire stays and we then go and sign another centre-back, you'd look at that and go, where's the money for that? Why would we have the money for that, but not the money for Amrabat and Gravenberch? And this is what the report's saying. The Quip are reporting that Todibo is nearing a move to United. Todibo has been touted as a Maguire replacement. However, despite no departure, Todibo's arrival at United still looks to be nearing. The Quip are reporting that the former Barca defender move to United is in sight. Now, I don't know whether that might just be an exaggeration of a headline from Get Football News France or GFFN. I'd be surprised. All right. I'd be mega surprised. I'd be very happy. Okay. I'd be very happy because I think Todibo would, again, from a profile perspective, yep, good. He sits and he fits. However, I'd be surprised if it did happen. And again, if you were to put this in priority order, right? Leave your comments. A new central midfielder, a new attacker, doesn't necessarily have to be a striker, but just a new attacker and a new centre-back. Right now, what would you say? How would you rank those 1, 2, 3 in priority order? As in which do United need the most for this season? Because I don't think there's any chance we sign all 3. I don't think there's any chance at all we sign all 3. Be lucky if we get 1. What do you think? Central midfielder, striker, or an attacker, and then centre back. I'll be interested to see what you say in the comments. I'm going to see if I miss any super chats. There you go, buddy. Save Jungle. What are you saying, sir? Thank you very much. So far, the transfers are a 5 out of 10 for me. Overpaying for average players again. We could have spent 160 mil pounds better. I feel like a 5 is pretty fair now that everything has happened with Maguire and since. I'm hoping that Hoyd improves to a bit like, mate, strikers are hella expensive. They really are, man. Like PSG are trying to sign Mwani for like 80 odd million. They're not getting anywhere near him. Harry Kane went for 110. I don't know how much Harry Kane went. Was it 115 mil? Just strikers going for a lot these days. An absolute lot of money. Mason Mount. I'm not making a judgment. If you think I'm going to throw him under the bus after 2 games, you don't know me enough. You don't know me. And then Onana, I think, was a great signing. A ridiculously cheap signing. Mason Greenwood and Anthony Value insured for unforeseen loss. I don't know, V33. Let me just quickly pull up their contracts and read through it. Well, I suppose clubs will have to protect themselves with these sorts of clauses. Right, let me see what you're saying down here. Barada, you're saying a central midfielder, then an attacker, then a centre-back. Suraj, centre-mid, striker, centre-back. Lyle, you're saying a centre-mid, centre-back, and then a striker. Everybody's saying a central midfielder first. That we can all agree on. Raymond, you're going centre-back second and forward third. Centre-mid. I personally feel, looking at this, I think we need one central midfielder first, a second midfielder second, and another attacker third. That's what I would like to see. I want to see 2 midfielders coming in. I really don't think that 1 is going to be enough across the course of the season. Just my personal feeling. I'd like to see it, but realistically, we're not going to sign 2. So if we're going for it, I'm going to say centre mid first. Then I would say a forward of some variety, and I would put a centre back third. So this is what I mean. But Todibo, these reports can come out, but United have got bigger priorities in that position right now. Joshua is saying, what about Kobbie Mainoo? I see Kobbie Mainoo. I know that Kobbie played in the number 6 position during preseason. That was Ten Hag kind of testing. So can this kid play there? I know he looks good. Can he play in these positions that require a lot more positional discipline and awareness? And he absolutely could. I think Kobbie's going to be sort of turned into a number 8. Not turned into a number 8. He's played there before. But I think that's where his long-term future lies, rather than as the number 6. Benny saying, how long is Kobbie Mainoo out for? The only word we ever got on that was from James Ducker during the preseason tour. I think he said it's looking like the first couple of months. So what's that? August and September, comes back at the start of October. So what would that be? 6 weeks away? Something like that. Someone down there mentioning Kudus. Well, Ajax have just rejected like a 42 million euro bid for Kudus. So I don't think we're going to be signing him. God knows God knows who we're going to go for. But I think that kind of deserves a video unto itself, an attacker that we could sign. But today's video is going to be a full summary of, 8 days to go. What's on the table? Like all these different deals that could happen. Which ones are most likely? That's what my video today is going to be on. And this one is part of it. Actually, no, before we quickly move on, can I say 2 things? Number 1, you drop a like on the video. It does make a big, big difference. It only takes you 1 second. And number 2, I'll drop the link in there. We've only got 7 days left on this. And this is going to be the last raffle that we do for a little while. Next month, there won't be a big raffle, all right? Because I'm going to be focusing on something else. And you'll see what it is. But this will be the last raffle for a little while. If you want to, get involved. You can win an iPad Air, a 2022 edition iPad Air. It's worth like north of 600 quid. You can win it for £1. All right? Just get your ticket down there. Only 7 days to go, so I'll be pushing that once per day from now on because I always forget. There's so many things that I need to do. Wow. Jeez, that's caught me by surprise. Jack. My God, Jason, you've got one. Peter, JM, Dave, Blaze. Man, there's so many. 20. I'm going to join in there. I can't let you do that on your own. Hell yeah. It's nice being generous. I like being generous. You do get a buzz off being generous. I think so anyway. There's 10 from me. But Jack, you absolute legend. There's 20 from you. And I will repeat, right? Previously, I've always felt that I haven't done enough for the members. This Discord, it's going to be linking your YouTube membership directly into Discord. We're giving you access to all different channels that you didn't have before. It's going to be great, great fun. So all of you members, make sure you join the Telegram community because once I make the move to Discord and I announce it, you want to be part of that party, man. You definitely do. But let's speak here about sales because sales, this is the most important thing. Now, I mean, technically, this isn't really a sale, is it? Because we're going to be loaning him, but it's going to be a player leaving the club. Brandon Williams going to Ipswich Town. I understand that. I think that would actually be a very good move for him. He went out on loan to Norwich for a season and really enjoyed it. Played well. And Kieran McKenna, United's, of course, ex-assistant manager, who Brandon worked under before. He's the manager of Ipswich. I think that's going to be actually a pretty damn good signing for Ipswich. And I think they'll be happy with it. Wages off the books. Alex, you're leaving it down there. Yeah, it would be wages off the books. It's a shame that we're not going to get a fee for him. I had him down here. Actually, I've changed it. Updated this morning. Williams down there as a loan to Ipswich. And you're saying I can't stand loan to buy nonsense. It's part of the way that clubs finance transfers in the modern game. Because with a loan to buy, you can then push the transfer fee at a season further ahead. So you can effectively sign a player for free, according to what the books say. Well, it's not hopefully. If he goes there, they've got to pay all of his wages. All right, they've got to pay all his wages. Absolutely got to pay all his wages. It's a shame. I wanted to get $5 million for him. Somebody who is definitely staying. And the whole thing was just weird, man. The whole idea that Rafa Varane was in talks with Saudi clubs and looking to leave Manchester United. You looked at it and you went, really? And yeah, Fabrizio Romano here confirming that Varane's never been in any sort of direct talks. He's staying at the club. He's happy at the club. Varane's going to be an important player this season. And if I'm being honest, if I'm going to name 3 players who I think have started this season well, I might put Varane at the top of the list. It's either Varane, Wan-Bissaka, or Onana. You type it in fact, let me do that as a poll. A little 10-minute poll. Who do you think has played the best this season? I mean, geez, it's scraping the barrel, I know. Who has had the strongest start? Personally. Would you say Varane? Would you say Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Or would you say Onana? I think all 3 of them have actually started okay. And I know everybody's losing their mind about how United have started this season. I know one, but let me try and pull this up here. Actually, I don't need to because it's a little bit too difficult. But 1 second here, make sure I'm not missing anything. No, nothing there important. Anyway, the start of the season, I know it's been frustrating, but we, in terms of our aggressive front press, it's the best it's looked. We're winning the ball up the pitch so much more often. We're creating more and more chances. As I said, the third most big chances created in the league. It's just that we can't finish them. It's almost like that we don't have that new attacker in our team yet. So the shape is the exact same as it was last season, which was a problem. It was a problem. It was a massive problem. When Horden comes in and Rashford goes out to the left, and I mean, Anthony's definitely got to up his game, man. He should have Sancho knocking on his door for that position. He should have Pellistri knocking on his door for that position. There should be a lot of... And that's one thing I will definitely hold Ten Hag to account for. Last season, I think he had justification for sticking to the starting 11 that he knew he felt that he could trust. But no one gets a hall pass this year. We can't be seeing Anthony play every single week if his form's wrong. We can't be seeing Casemiro play every single week if his form's not there. Alex, yeah, I'll be doing the starting 11 lineup tomorrow. But Varane, he ain't going nowhere. Although next summer, I think we can probably have a conversation about it. But that's further down the line. That's further down the line. Now, there's a few more talking points I want to have for the end of the show today. Let me quickly see what you're saying, though, in this poll. Right? Who do you feel has had the strongest sort of start to the season out of these three? 400 votes in a minute. Jeez. 42% of you say Onana's had the strongest start. 30% say AWB, and 30% of you say Wan-Bissaka, and 28% of you are saying Varane. I'll be honest, I think you're right. I think given the scrutiny that there was going to be on Onana's every single touch, he really has he's settled in very, very quickly. He's clearly got that level of self-belief that people look at and think, well, he's arrogant. But it's just not. He's just got so much confidence that it exudes as arrogance. It's like he's overfilled with confidence and it starts pouring out as arrogance. Onana so far is pretty much everything that I wanted him to be, especially in that first game, man, when we didn't really know what sort of keeper he was, and he turned into that shot stopper at the same time as the guy with the good distribution. And that bit against Spurs when he was like 30 yards out of his 40 yards out from his goal, passed to Garnacho. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Mo, you're saying when's Ahmad back? Anthony needs a challenger for real. He's got Sancho and he's got Pellistri. But Ahmad, I think he's training still. He's still in training. Now, something that I really, really, really want to happen. Let me actually make sure I haven't missed any super chats down here. There are a couple, actually. Dark and Light, how you doing, buddy? Saying, Sam, the Casemiro not celebrating when Varane scored. And Garnacho's cryptic. We know why some are picked to start. Disharmony going on. Bit of a confusing super chat there. I didn't see Casemiro not celebrating when Varane scored. Did he? Didn't he? I don't know why he wouldn't. Casemiro loves a celebration. No idea what they've been. Basically, you're throwing in conspiracy theories, and I don't really entertain conspiracy theories. Sorry, buddy. Warwick is saying, please can we have a stats section on Discord for my match day stats? Stats section might be a good thing. It's a good idea there, Warwick Road. Andy, we'll just call you Andy from Warwick Road. I'll throw that into the because there's about 10 of us all in background working really hard on getting this all set up perfectly. So any suggestions you can have, you can throw it into the Telegram as well. Alex is one of the mods from Telegram who's going to be coming over to Discord as well. He'll be putting up a few polls. So if there are like things that you'd love to see in the community that we currently don't have on Telegram, you can add it into the suggestions box and we can see what we can do. Now, somebody who I don't think should be anywhere near Manchester United, well, should have got sacked yesterday. Richard Arnold's Manchester United's handling of the whole Mason Greenwood situation was diabolical, man. It is a top-down effect. Richard Arnold is a reflection of the owners above him. In the same way that Ed Woodward was when he came in. I've been willing to be patient, I suppose, with Richard Arnold. I've been pretty patient. You know, people have been calling for his, because anybody who comes in after Ed Woodward is thinking, it's going to be a Woodward V2 puppet. I've been a little bit patient. Jason is saying he's definitely better than Woodward. It's like, yeah, well, that's not particularly difficult. But the way that he handled this, he's got to go, man. He's got to go. And the Guardian is suggesting that his position is under increasing pressure. I mean, there's absolutely no way that Richard Arnold survives any takeover, whether it's Qatari, whether it's Jim Ratcliffe. Richard Arnold can't be part of that. And I know there's a lot of people that would argue that John Murtough is part of that. But I've got less anger towards John Murtough as I do towards Richard Arnold after this Greenwood situation. This is happening today, by the way. Now, last time after we lost to Brentford, the players all ran an extra 10 kilometres. Man United playing against Burnley today at Carrington. And it's because the fitness isn't there. I've reiterated on quite a few occasions. That's easily the thing that I'm most confused about and probably most concerned about is the fitness levels. Because I mean, we had, I suppose it goes to show the why pre-season tours get in the way of pre-seasons. Man United played 8 bloody times. How on earth do they look so unfit? Don't really understand it. Honestly, I don't really understand it. But United are playing Burnley today. Pretty physical team. Hopefully it builds up some more fitness. I don't think it's going to be completely the first team that plays. I imagine there might be a couple of players there, maybe a couple of the players that were on the bench against Spurs rather than the first team. But this is, I suppose, the exact same thing as playing in the Champions League on a Wednesday and then having a game at home on Saturday at 3 p.m. I suppose it might be a little bit of that as well, actually, when you think about it. Ten Hag going, right, okay, we need a game on Wednesday to get these players prepared to playing twice a week. So at the same time, it's a little bit of that. But I think it's also Ten Hag going, look, get fitter ASAP. So that's why that friendly's going on behind closed doors. Sod knows who the team is. I really have no idea what the team's going to be. It's behind closed doors. You're not supposed to know. Gaurav, what are you saying, buddy? Remember the times when fans jumped to Ronaldo for saying he's too old? United's mentality is old, not Ronaldo. We're losing to Tottenham. Ronaldo was old. Ronaldo was fading hard at United. And it was quite sad to see because he couldn't see it himself. And that's what made it all the worse. But Ronaldo wasn't wrong in some of the things he said. Just the timing of when he said it. We don't need to get into that. Do we really? Dark and Light, you explained that comment earlier. Not conspiracy, not both out in public domain, but it's okay. I must not have seen it, dude. I apologize about that. You can slide into my DMs on Twitter. You can explain that to me. Laurie saying, didn't we play a friendly against Everton the other week? I think that. Mate, Laurie, pre-season was for fitness. Pre-season was for sharpness. But we just don't have it. That's why a game like this is needed. And as I said, from not next week, from the week after. No, was it after the international break? I think it's after the international break. We got Champions League football. We're playing every Wednesday and every Saturday. We're playing twice a week. But we're not playing against Burnley at Carrington. We're going to be playing against the likes of Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. These players got to get used to it. That's what I mean. We need 2 midfielders in, man. Geez, you think it's hard enough as it is now? Imagine Casemiro playing 90 minutes 3 times a week. That ain't happening. We need midfielders now. Stephen, you're saying, hi, Sam. Can you give a shout out to my sons, Keith and Gavin, who both cried when Fred left? Mate, Fred left with a... Did you see the goal that he scored in the first game? Scored an absolute... scored like a right-footed volley. But hi to both of you lads. Fred is a good character. I remember when I was given the opportunity to interview Fred, not in person. That was when I ran the People's Person website. And I posed loads of questions to Fred. It's an interview that's still on the channel, actually. He was really, really nice. If you haven't watched that, let me pull this up. I'll send you the link to that. I remember it got demonetized because I used a song that I had a license for. That really annoyed me. 3 years ago. Jeez. It was really nice, man. If you fancy watching that, go and listen to that. Rudy saying, Sam, would you take Ivan Toney in January? Yeah, I think I would, absolutely. I think Ivan Toney would be a really good signing for United from a profile perspective, a really good signing. A couple more little stories here to wrap up before we finish the show. We've got whispers and murmurs that Mark Jurado could be leaving Manchester United. He was on the pre-season tour. Opportunities are limited for him with Wan-Bissaka and Dalot there at the right-back spot. He's not quite ready for the first team. I think a loan would be good for him, but maybe not. But he wasn't with the under-21s last night. And the under-21s last night beaten Stockport on penalties in the EFL Cup. Dan Gore again, impressing. Dan Gore is somebody who I believe should be getting opportunities inside this first team squad. Maybe in League Cup games. Maybe. I don't know. But he's done really nothing but impress. I'll be completely honest. He's done nothing but impress. So far this preseason, wherever he's played. We're looking at the votes. We've got 11 minutes in. Nearly 900 votes, and 45% of you've agreed that Onana has been the strongest player for United at the start of the season. And that's it's good, isn't it? Because there was so much expectation on him. And I think so far he's delivering. He really is. And one little nugget of goodness here. Nugget of goodness? Has anybody ever said that sentence before in their entire life? Shea Lacey signed his first professional contract with the club. Watch out for this lad. My prediction is that Shea Lacey will be in a Manchester United matchday squad towards the end of the Premier League season. I suppose it depends what's going on at that point in time, whether we are still in a race or not. But my prediction is that we'll see Lacey maybe not in the Premier League matchday squad. At some point in the season, we will see him in a matchday squad. That's what I think. So anyway, he's a properly exciting youngster, man. There's someone who's very elegant to watch when he runs. He's just turned 17, I believe. That's normal. That's why he's allowed to sign his professional contract. I don't think you can sign a professional contract until he's 17. Huh. Maybe you can, because he's still 16. So he just turned 16. They changed that. I swear you can only sign that first professional contract when you were 17. So nice. Anyway, he's 16. Jonathan, you don't think it'll be this season? Let's find out. Ten Hag's already held one-on-one meetings with him. Maybe in a League Cup squad. Josh, I'm not going to read that comment out because it still absolutely haunts me. I should never have reminded everybody how bad that opinion was. For anybody who wants to know how bad that opinion was, I'm not going to tell you. Someone else can tell you in the comments. But look, last couple of minutes of the show, fire in your questions. The main stories of today. This is coming from Neil Custis, all right? This is coming from Neil Custis. So just hold your horses. Don't get mega excited. We took a look at the share price of Manchester United. Let's see what's happened there. The share price has gone up nearly 10% in pre-trading. Maybe that's a reaction to this. But David Ornstein is saying, look, man, we've not had an answer yet. And if David Ornstein's saying that, then I know exactly who I am trusting. And you're asking about the Pellistri loan. We spoke about that the other day. I don't understand that personally. I think Pellistri is good enough. I suppose it depends what angle you're coming from. If you feel that Pellistri is good enough and deserves regular game time, then you're going to want him to have a loan spell. But if you're thinking selfishly from Manchester United's perspective, then no, keep him in the squad. Don't let him out. Keep him there. Anthony's saying opening hours for the Arms. The Arms will be back. I'll be back this weekend. This one will be on YouTube, but the Arms is going to be moving to Discord. All right, so it's another reason for everyone to get into Discord. It's going to be a lot more engaging in there, a lot easier. But look, apparently you're telling me that you had to be 16 to sign that professional contract. I always thought it was 17, but I might have got my dates wrong. So it might be 16, which is exactly why he's done it there. But we've got movement on. We've got movement on Bayern there. Looks like he's going to be the fourth signing. All right, a new goalkeeper. I'm still waiting on movement on Gravenberch. We've been waiting for a while. Same with Amrabat. And then we've got exits. They're starting to go through. It feels like there's a little bit of momentum in everything that is happening in the last 24 hours. I'm going to cover it all in my lunchtime video, a big old summary of everything that could happen in these last 8 days, realistically. It'll be like my last one of these at the summer, and then we'll find out what happens towards the end. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Thank you, Jack, for gifting 20 memberships. For Shax for gifting 5. I apologize, there were so many more that gifted. I gifted 10 as well. All of you, join the Telegram community. The link is in the description. It will take you 2 seconds. And you want to get involved before we head over to Discord. Much love.